One Piece 1092 finally dropped after a break week, and fans were definitely excited to finally see the war on Egghead Island proceed. This war has been teased quite a lot by Oda, and it has certainly started off on a fantastic note. This week's chapter gave fans their first proper look at the fight between Luffy and Kizaru. Fans have waited for this fight to kick off for quite a few chapters now, and if the start is anything to go by, everyone is in for a treat. One Piece 1092 also covered some very intriguing events that took the fans away from Egghead Island, but we're just as intriguing. As such, there's a lot to dissect about this phenomenal chapter of One Piece. Kuma at Mary Joy. Much to the surprise of everyone, One Piece chapter 1092 opened far from Egghead Island. Fans had expected for the chapter to continue on Egghead simply because every other major event that was taking place away from Egghead was already done. However, there was one specific event that fans have not taken into consideration, and that was the plotline related to Kuma. The last time fans saw him, he was seen climbing the red line in an attempt to get on top of it. It was quite clear that Kuma's real goal was to get to someplace on the other side of the red line. To get there, however, he would need to climb the red line and cross it from the other side. One Piece 1092 gave fans a very good look at just that. Kuma scaled the entirety of the red line all by himself and faced resistance on the top. In the holy land of Mary Joy, he was seen engaged in combat with several of their soldiers. Of course, they proved ineffective in stopping him, and that is precisely where Sakazuki, the current fleet admiral, stepped in. Taking things into his own hands, Sakazuki launched a powerful attack on him, blowing half of his face off, just as he did with Whitebeard during the Paramount War. He also managed to melt one of his legs. However, at the end of the day, he was unable to stop Kuma as he used his Nikki powers to send himself flying. It is quite interesting to speculate on where Kuma is going at the moment, but the only answer that fans can arrive at is Egghead Island. That is the place where his daughter is currently, and if these are Kuma's last moments, Oda would ensure that he makes him spend them with his daughter. Snakeman versus Kizaru. The most exciting part of the chapter was certainly the clash between Luffy and Kizaru. One Piece 1092 gave fans a good glimpse at the beginning of this fight. While the fight did not exactly pick up from where the last chapter left off, fans could see Luffy having transformed into his Snakeman form, clashing with Kizaru on an even footing. It makes a lot of sense for Luffy to have assumed this transformation. Snakeman offers him a great boost when it comes to speed, which is possibly only bested by Gear 5. With this transformation, he tested the strength of Kizaru, and it is safe to say that Luffy fared well against him. He managed to keep Kizaru on the defensive by launching powerful attacks, and at the same time, he also managed to earn his praise. Kizaru acknowledged the fact that Luffy was indeed the man who defeated Kaido. However, this was soon followed by a powerful attack by him. The Admiral made full use of his Pika Pika no Mi and went far away from the island to charge a powerful kick. Kizaru once again highlighted how speed is power and launched a devastating strike on Luffy. Normally, this technique would be enough to defeat anyone. However, someone as strong as Luffy certainly wouldn't be put down by such a technique. It is safe to say that One Piece chapter 1092 did justice to both Luffy as well as Kizaru. It would have been a terrible start to the fight had it been one-sided, and Oda ensured that both the parties get their highlights as the fight progresses. The escape plan ruined. One Piece chapter 1092 also saw the escape plan built by the Straw Hat Pirates crumble. This isn't something unexpected for the fans. Plans rarely ever work in One Piece, especially for the Straw Hat crew. It is a very common technique for Oda to have the crew lay down a fully elaborate plan, and then it comes to ruin. This not only increases the unpredictability of an arc, but at the same time, it also raises the stakes as well as the tension. That is precisely what Oda did in this chapter as well. As soon as Kizaru kicked Luffy, he went flying right through Vega Force 1, which was needed for the Straw Hat Pirates in order to escape. With the Vega Force being destroyed now, there doesn't appear to be any way out for the Straw Hat Pirates at the moment. Meanwhile, fans also saw Bonnie try to fight against Kizaru. Curiously, Kizaru mentioned that he does not want to hurt any more old friends, and the implication here is that he has some sort of connection with Bonnie. What exactly that is remains to be seen. Nonetheless, Kizaru got rid of her effortlessly, and soon after, Frankie tried to confront him as well. Expectedly, Frankie is no match for him, and the Marine Admiral did not even entertain him. Instead, teleporting inside the laboratory where his main mission to assassinate Vegapunk is to go down. Gear 5 activated. One Piece Chapter 1092 managed to maintain excitement from start to finish as, towards the end of the chapter, Luffy finally activated Gear 5. Luffy revealed that Kizaru had kicked him so fast that he actually flew out of the Frontier Dome barrier erected around the island. He then had to cross the barrier once again, and this certainly caused him some injuries. Nonetheless, Luffy couldn't care less about his body at the moment. He immediately transformed into Gear 5 and decided to take on Kizaru at his very best. Near the laboratory, Luffy managed to grab Kizaru with his hand after turning into a giant, and it appears that from here onwards, the fight is going to be even more intense than before. Furthermore, there is a lot for the fans to be excited about as, at the very end of the chapter, the Iron Giant that was sleeping on Egghead came to life. It appears that Luffy's heartbeat, the drums of liberation, somehow managed to power it up, and its eyes finally lit up. The arc is going to be extremely unpredictable from here onwards, and the Egghead incident is certainly going to revolve around the Iron Giant itself. Furthermore, Kuma is also headed to the island itself, which means fans are in for a treat. From here onwards, the Egghead Island arc will most likely be totally focused on the war that is currently raging on. This is because almost every other incident from around the world has now been successfully concluded by Oda. Fans can sit back and enjoy as this war unfolds. And in other news, One Piece: Why Vegapunk decided to join the world government. Back in One Piece chapter 1066, Vegapunk told a story about the time he accidentally met Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, on the newly destroyed island of O'Hara. They were there to pay respect to their late friend and one of the leading experts of the Void Century, an O'Hara researcher named Professor Clover. In this flashback, we find out that Vegapunk used to be the leader of a group of genius scientists called MADS, along with big names like Caesar, then Smoke Judge, Queen, and Stussy. They were at the forefront of advancement in every facet of science until the world government disbanded them. Not long after that, Dragon offered Vegapunk to join his newly created revolutionary army and go against the tyrannical world government together. Vegapunk declined the offer and decided to join the world government instead. So why did the greatest scientist in the world decide to join the enemy's rank to fund his ambitious projects? There are a couple of reasons why Vegapunk decided to join the world government. The first one is simply because the world government could and would fund his projects. Some might say that it is unethical to work for a corrupt organization like the world government, especially if said government was the one that crushed your previous organization. However, Vegapunk has always been a pragmatic person. The most important thing for him is to continue his research and realize his visions. To achieve that, the most logical step was to join the wealthy world government, not a cash-stricken organization like the Revolutionary Army. By the way, Vegapunk told this harsh truth directly to Dragon's face. "You are always honest to a fault," said Dragon to Vegapunk, amused. It's not that Vegapunk suddenly agrees with the world government's horrific and questionable actions, but joining forces with them is the only way for him to freely create every weird and revolutionary invention that exists within his ever-expanding genius mind. There are still good people in the world government. Another reason why Vegapunk agreed to join the world government was because he truly believed that there were still kind, honorable, and law-abiding Marines in the government. He never mentioned any specific names, but from what we know about numerous people who were in the Marines at the time, we can safely assume that one of those persons was none other than Dragon's father, Monkey D. Garp, the hero of the Marines. Thanks to Vegapunk's immense contributions to the Marines, he is actually quite close to numerous people from the world government, people that he can consider as friends. The most notable person among his list of friends is one of the current highest-ranking officers of the Marines, a laid-back man named Borsellino, commonly known throughout the world as Admiral Kizaru. Kizaru has been a close friend of Vegapunk since he was still a young man climbing through the ranks of the Marines. He was one of the people who were responsible for Vegapunk's security at the time, which was when their friendship started to blossom. Unfortunately, as we've seen in recent chapters, as somebody who is working for the Marines, Kizaru has no choice but to comply with the order to capture or kill Vegapunk, who has been deemed a traitor by the world government, to continue the O'Hara research. In between his time working on countless projects for the world government, making pacifistas, seraphim, and other advanced weapons, and creating a futuristic island for himself and the people who work for him, the Egghead Island, Vegapunk secretly continues the research left behind by his late friend, Professor Clover. As you might have guessed, that research is about the Void Century and the advanced civilization that thrived and perished during the blank period. We know from the aforementioned flashback that Vegapunk visited the library of the Elbaf pirates soon after he met with Dragon. The purpose of his visit was none other than to read countless books and research materials left behind by the people of O'Hara. It's clear that as a man of science, he was certainly interested in the mysterious technology of the past and wanted to uncover the missing chapters in history. As somebody who witnessed what the world government did to those who dared to look into the Void Century, Vegapunk was certainly aware of the risk of his secret project, and yet he still did it anyway. There are certainly lots of reasons behind this decision, but it's safe to assume that as the smartest person on the planet, he realized that he was the only one who could undertake this massive project, and he could only do it with the help of the world government's unlimited resources. So in a way, Vegapunk joined the world government in order to research the one thing that they tried so hard to hide was his way to spite his new employer. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.